Be calling you a radical. This is a historic, important video. So, what turned out to be Black Lives Matter's Million Mass March was started on that event. So, this is important because D. Smith is dead. Some Christians sent me this. I'm like, what the hell? No. So, this is important. Kevin Blanch in Ogden, Utah is who started the Million Mass March. Me and John Anthony Fairhurst, he was in Boston. We started it based on that no-knock warrant. Then later was the death of Danielle Wheeler. So let's talk about this. This is important, some history. We're at the famous Leslie Hodgson masterpiece, the municipal building. Ted Bundy built out of that jail. So this is a historic video. D. Smith is dead. I'm like, what the hell? Young. He's the prosecuting attorney in this town at the time. Now let's talk about this. I was in the bone marrow transplant center in January 2012, dying of leukemia when this happened. So I restored that. That's the Leslie Hodgson 1905 Masonic Temple. It's his first. I got involved. I'm like, they're going to tear this down. So I hung from a rope and hand chiseled it, put it back together in 2009. One guy. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is important. That was his office. D. Smith. So D. Smith was the young junior partner with Randy Richards and Bernie Allen, which were the defense attorneys in this town, still are. Well, not in this town. They're partners. So I knew them all really well. I have for many years. So there's a no-knock warrant on a marijuana marijuana plant. Now, there's a documentary out, Dub Lawrence, who I know Dub personally. I've known him many years. Who's the ex-Davis County sheriff, who actually ran for Congress, who made the documentary. It's good. You can watch it. So, this is called Peace Officer. I went to the debut. Me and Dub go way back. So this is important because this is really how Black Lives, which is irony because I'm standing right here. The last time I talked to Matthew Stewart's mom and dad was right here. Right where this square inch I'm standing on the Floyd protest. Say his name. Right here. When the Standard Examiner blackballed me a long time ago, refused to put me in anything, even when I did that, they finally took my picture right there with that betrayed. So, when the Million Mass March was started, it was started on this police brutality. So, no-knock warrants are not only a death sentence to innocent people, cops too. They're a nightmare, and nobody had more no warrants than Ogden, Utah. The police kill innocent people, capital of the world is Utah. Unarguable. That's just a fact. So when I started this, it was based on the Fukushima meltdowns and the death of Matthew Stewart. Now, Matthew Stewart, so his wife called him, his ex-wife, said that he had marijuana plant. Growing marijuana plant in the house right up here. Stewart families are very old school, famous family. Matthew Stewart was a vet in Iraq. His dad's a Vietnam vet. They're very elegant, sophisticated, old school family from Ogden, Utah. Important family from Ogden, Utah. His ex-wife just called. So they went over to the house, snuck in around the backyard and saw a plant in the window. I like what Mrs. Stewart says now. He was killed for something that is legal now. Should have been legal then, but so the judge issues a no-knock warrant, which, they're rubber stamps. So they go to the house, they're dressed in black, not even the basic uniform, and he works at Walmart. He works nights. He's asleep. Here comes a bunch of people that intrude into his house. He says he thought he was having a home invasion. So he reaches out, puts the gun out like this. He's got a gun. I mean, who don't? This is Ogden, Utah. BAR was invented right there to that square inch. Browning on Balco. There's irony about this. The shots begin to ring. I mean, it's a full blown out boom, 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 hillbilly showdown, freaking hoedown. Boom, 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 guns fly everywhere. There's a cop killed. There's another cop shot in the head. By Jared? Well, not according to Bill Lawrence, who reenacted the scene. He believes there's another cop, but anyway, whatever. So Jared's arrested and thrown into Weber County Jail. People in this town are freaking out, left and right. They're like, what the fuck? Even the most far right, love the police, are running in there to Randy Richards' office and dumping over literally suitcases of cash to defend Matthew. They're pissed. What, a guy can't, you know, I mean, even the far right and left both agreed on this. I'm pissed. I'm in the bone marrow transplant dying, and what the fuck? So, it's getting ready for trial. D. Smith, the prosecuting attorney, Randy Richards, my old friend. I would like to emphasize old. There's supposed to be a plaque on that wall for me restoring that building, which, you see one? Who could do? You should have seen it. One guy, hand chiseled it. Freaking tore it. The Masonic symbol right there, I put that in there, chiseled in there. They fucking just fucked me. So anyway, he ends up hung in a jail cell. Now, there was a guy running for mayor here who used to work at the jail. He claims the cops hung him. Other people say he hung himself. I've talked to Matthew Mom about it. So the inception of the Million Mask March, when it started in 2012, Black Lives Matter did not start by three women with a hashtag. They stole it. It was started by the Million Mask March. Play back the tape. RT in DC. Kevin Blanch started it. John Anthony Furhurst. Steve Grant. But it was really Kevin Blanch. Then right after that, later that year, the murder of Danielle Willett. Shot in the face, just dropping off somebody. She didn't do anything. Zero in broad daylight. I went psycho. I'm like, what the fuck? Where's this end? That's how the Million Matter, which ended up being Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is completely co-op, 100% stole. So young D. Smith, who's a junior partner with Randy, they're partners. He ends up being the prosecutor. Randy's the defense. I mean, what a dichotomy. People protested in front of D's house. You know, I know D well. I've known him really well for him. Beautiful dude. Incredible physical condition. So, Chris just sent me this. Police escort at the coroner's wagon. His hat. I mean, he's young. What the fuck? He's dead? Wow. Wow is all I gotta say. I couldn't believe it. I just saw this, you know. Holy fuck, you know. Plot thickens, right? Do not ever let you tell you the three women sitting around on a hashtag started Black Lives Matters. No. It was started, the anti-cop was the Million Mask March, started that in 2012. And it was on the no-knock warrant. Matthew Stewart, for his ex-wife calling because he had a marijuana plant. That's all. A decorated Iraqi vet. His father, a decorated Vietnam vet. Pillars of the community. Really amazing family. Mrs. Stewart does an interview with the scumbags, the Ogden Standard dirtbags examiner. She says, if you're ever in trouble, don't ever call a cop. Call a neighbor or a friend. She's elegant as it gets. I love it. I talked to her right here, standing on this square inch. Last year, they took that picture and finally put me in the Standard Exaggerator. It used to be such a great paper. Wow is all I gotta say. The beginning, the inception of the movement. And I want to say this again because it ties into Breonna Taylor. It has nothing to do with right-left. Both right and left were in support of Matthew Stewart. Jared, I knew Jared too. I knew Jared when he was a kid. his death, no-knock warrants, they're bad for everyone, including cops. Now, what really happened that day? Well, we know what really happened that day. His ex-wife called on a marijuana plant. On a fucking marijuana plant. He was working nights. He was asleep. They came in. They didn't have marked uniforms on. He panicked. Who wouldn't? Presented a gun. They shot him right through the arm of the gun. He shot back. But according to Dub Lawrence, you can watch the documentary, and I'm not going to challenge Dub Lawrence. I mean, that dude, talk about, his credibility is incredible. His forensics show that it was a cop who shot a cop. You know, what good can come out of that? Last time, I remember talking to D right there in the front of the freaking building, man. This is exactly where what turned out to be Black Lives Matter was started by Kevin Lawrence. It's just an unarguable fact. Unarguable fact. Young, D. Smith is dead. Wow. By the way, when he's prosecutor attorney, he wasn't elected. He ran for attorney general. I would have took him over Sean Reyes, I can tell you that, but whatever. He's dead. I just saw this. The police escorting. There were protests at his house. This was a major deal. I'll post the link to a peace officer. It's very sad. And again, no-knock warrants. The fact of the matter is, the anti-cop kill innocent people movement started here. Right here now. On the death of Jared, he's a cop, and Matthew, Stewart, and Danielle Willard. It's just a fact. Fuck you, Donovan Mitchell, is all I gotta say. I know Donovan personally. Me and him had a long conversation. We flew together to Salt Lake when he first came to the Jazz. We had a long conversation about race. Go fucking ask him. Bunch of women, 3 women sit around in a hashtag. Now think about this. All the blood and the pain, the street activists, and they're gonna take care of this. There was no bone with scars across my face. Incredible moment today. Remarkable moment today. Wow. I saw this and I have no clue on the cause of death. I probably never will, but wow. Wow is all I got to say. Randy Richards, who's married to a Brownsville, they're old Ogden's got it. They moved out of the city because of it. It changed the attorney's office in Utah forever. You know, the public defender's office was changed forever because of this case. They sold this building. By the way, they made millions off my back. Matthew Godfrey, what a crook. They paid me in cash, by the way, in 2009. Matthew Godfrey was a big time. I taught with Matt. He was the mayor, and then Ogden, Utah. What a fucking corrupt place. So, irony. The 1905 Masonic Temple. What circles, huh? Life is full of circles. Some are bigger than others. The beginning of the police brutality, anti-police brutality, was started on the death of Matthew Stewart and Jared, by the way, was a cop. Jared was a nice guy, you know. And all no-knock warrants now. D. Smith is dead. Wow. Stay tuned.